The following podcast contains movie spoilers and mature content, including graphic descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Opening Kill, the podcast that dives deep into the chilling world of horror films. Every Thursday, we explore a different movie, from cult classics to modern masterpieces, uncovering behind-the-scenes secrets, analyzing themes, and sharing fun facts about your favorite horror films. Join us as we chat with filmmakers and fellow horror film fans to celebrate the fear in cinema. And now, the hosts of Opening Kill, Michael Doran and Brian O'Connor.
How are we doing, Brian?
Pretty well, Michael. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing really, really well.
Well, here's why I'm doing very well. I want to welcome Jillian, researcher Jillian, who is in studio with us today, and former bartender, makes the most amazing old fashions. And of course, we talked about bourbon last week and Buffalo Trace.
The importance of a bison on the cover.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's done it again. And this is an amazing old-fashioned. Thank you, Jillian.
Yes, thank you. I'm sipping on one as well.
Yes, you are. But you also have Rolling Rock, too.
I
so
do.
You're good.
So I got the bison and the horsey, so I'm set.
Good God. Well, welcome to Opening Kill, episode Unlucky 13. I love that.
Oh, my God. I'm so scared.
We're 13 episodes old. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah, we're going through puberty right now.
Yeah, we are. Good Lord. Well, I'll tell you, it's been a great week for movies. We're going to be talking to you about Cobweb, which came out in 2023. And actually, researcher Danielle, she's the one that suggested this one to us, so we watched it. We'll tell you about that.
It was awful. No, it was good.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it was
fun.
actually pretty good. We'll get into that. We'll also have your scare preview a little bit later on in the podcast as well. So you and I saw the same film this week.
Mm-hmm.
This was my scare preview pick from January 2nd.
Okay.
It's called Heart Eyes, and it's Valentine's Day themed. It came out the day before Valentine's Day, and I went and saw it. I think I saw it Thursday night, and when it came out, and I text you, and I said, I'm going in to see it.
Yep.
And then I went and saw it. Then I get a text from you like at 12:30 or whatever. I don't know how late it was, whenever it was. And I said, dude, how was it? And I had to be honest, and I thought, okay, this is going to kill Michael's soul, knowing how he feels about Scream. But I said to you, I think this is better than Scream was.
I think that is a thing to say, but I don't like. Is it better than some Scream movies? Yes. Is it better than all Scream movies? No, but it is the best slasher I've seen in a while.
It's one of the best ones I've ever seen.
I mean, as far as modern day slashers, yeah, I think it is easily in the conversation for one of the bests. And it just balances, because I love rom-coms as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love me a good rom-com. So, like, I loved those aspects of it, because it is basically equal parts rom-com and slasher movie. And it just, the actors that they've got going, their chemistry was incredible. The killer had such a cool look to him. And then the kills, good God, there's some amazing ones.
There really were. And just the nonchalance of some of them. We were talking before we started the show. You know, there's one scene where he's in a parking lot. It's a drive-in or something. And he's just walking. He's after his target. And some poor sap is just standing there and just wrong place, wrong time. And he gets it just because he's in the way.
Yeah, a few unlucky saps get it.
Yeah, there was more than one.
And I don't want to like go too far into like the plot and stuff to give stuff away, but there's just like two scenes that absolutely killed me. One involves the dildo, and then the other involves the couple that is banging in the van.
Yeah. Oh,
And
my God.
That whole scene, I was rolling.
Well, and there's a kill inside that van, which is epic.
There's two kills.
Yeah,
and
there
they
are
might,
two.
They
There
might
are
be
two.
the best in the movie.
I think they probably are.
Yeah, I mean, the opening, there's one in the opening that's pretty damn solid, but there's something about that van kill, both of those, that are just incredible.
It was a great movie. If you've been thinking about seeing it, don't think about it. Just go see it. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, even though it's after Valentine's Day, I think still go see it. And you can trick people into seeing it if they only like rom-coms. Being like, it's a rom-com, because you're technically not lying.
That's true. That is true. Oh, Heart Eyes. Great, great movie. So go check that out.
Absolutely.
So you've got some interesting news headline stuff to talk about here on Opening Kill episode 13.
I do. This one is bizarre. So Taylor Lautner, we all know him. He played the werewolf in Twilight, and he made all like the middle-aged moms very creepy towards the minor. Do you remember that? It was a very weird time to be alive, where everyone was just like openly being like, I want to bang him. You're like, well, he's a child, so,
so stop.
Please stop. But he's going to be playing a fictional version of himself in a series called Taylor Lautner Werewolf Hunter. So the premise of the show is that after wrapping the last Twilight movie, Taylor is drawn into a secret society of werewolf hunters, and he must, quote, wrestle with the ultimate irony, fighting the very creatures that made him famous. So it's going to be very tongue-in-cheek. It does say there's going to be some genuine scares, though. So I think this is going to be an absolute blast.
Did you see Wolf Creek?
Is that the one when they're in like the Australian outback and like the bad guy is just like this backwoods like Crocodile Dundee dude?
Exactly.
Okay, I've seen the first one. I haven't seen anything else.
So there was a second one, and then there was a spin-off TV series that lasted, I think, 2 seasons.
There's a TV series?
In 2016.
Involved like the same guy?
Yep. It was the same concept. So Wolf Creek just turned 25 years old last month, which is amazing when you think about that. And again, the sequel was in 2013, and then the spinoff. Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting have announced a third film. It's called Wolf Creek Legacy. John Jarrett is back as the Outback Killer, which is very exciting. Mick Taylor is the character's name. Greg McLean, who created the franchise, is coming back to produce, and Sean Lahiff is going to direct. Now, this film will follow a family of American tourists who accidentally wander off trail in the outback and right into Mick Taylor's territory. And you can imagine what happens next.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy. He's nasty.
No, he is not.
He's a nasty boy.
Eric Opeka, who is Cineverse's chief strategy officer and president, said, quote, "We're incredibly excited to bring Mick Taylor back to the big screen in what will be the perfect addition to our library alongside Terrifier 3 and our reimagining of Silent Night, Deadly Night. This film will be released theatrically in the U.S. and around the world in the fall of 2026.
Okay.
And yeah, if you haven't seen the original, check it out. It's actually very loosely based on true events.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that happened. There was a serial killer by the name of Ivan Milat who murdered some backpackers in the 90s. And then there was a guy by the name of Bradley Murdoch who killed somebody in the outback in 2001. So this was kind of bred from that. It's loosely based on it, but still it's inspired by.
That's just crazy that like Australia already has horrifying animals trying to kill you. Then to add like an actual person trying to kill you is just not fair. The character reminds me. Did you ever watch The Rescuers Down Under?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't like the bad guy in that totally remind you of him?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
Leave it to the Disney freak to make that connection.
That is true. You are the Disney freak. Jeez.
But no, I'm excited for that. I think I do want to watch kind of the other stuff in that franchise, but I'm always for like a new reimagining of a beloved character.
Yeah. No, that's going to be great. So this week's episode, it is the 2023 film called Cobweb. Now, make sure you watch the right one. There were 2 of them that came out in 2023.
Okay. Yes, I had that issue.
Oh, did you? I was going to ask you.
So mine, yeah, I hit the right one. Like the artwork was the right thing, but it started playing this like black and white, like Asian flick.
It's a South Korean black comedy is what it is.
So then I went and I clicked on the picture of that film, and the right one played for me.
They reversed it.
They did. So
oh my goodness,
it fooled the streaming services even.
Yeah. So you don't want the South Korean one. Otherwise,
I mean, it seemed interesting.
I'm sure it is, but if you're watching that one and listening to us, none of this will make sense.
You will be a bit flabbergasted.
So just the facts, directed by Samuel Bowden. Seth Rogen was one of the producers on this film. It was released July 21st, 2023, starring Lizzie Kaplan, Woody Norman, Cleopatra Coleman, who I love, and Anthony Starr. It earned just over $10 million on a budget of $13 million. So It lost money. A couple of problems here. It was heavily undermarketed.
Yes.
And I don't think it helped that it opened against Barbie and Oppenheimer.
No, that's a death sentence.
It opened in July. This has a definite Halloween vibe.
Yes.
It starts the week before Halloween. This should have been a fall release.
And there's
not a
so
summer
many
release.
shots of pumpkins.
Yes.
Like it's literally like there's like an establishing shot of the house that has a little patch of pumpkins. I'm like, why was this not put out in the fall?
I think this could have done much better at the box office.
I don't think it would have been like a smash hit, but I think it would have, made its money back. And,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. It would go against Barbie and Oppenheimer.
I don't understand that
Nope,
call, but whatever.
I do not either.
I do love the cast though. Like Lizzie Kaplan, aka Janice Ian from Mean Girls.
Right.
She's so great.
Yep.
It's weird seeing her in this kind of a role.
You know who else is it? This is kind of funny. Luke Busey, who has a supporting role. He plays a little bully.
Yeah, he's a
All
real
right?
nasty little shit.
He's a nasty guy, nasty kid, I should say, because he's only 14. Here's the fun fact. This is Gary Busey's son, not grandson.
Right.
Son. Gary Busey is 80 years old, and Luke Busey is 14. So Gary Busey at 66, getting it on.
Which seems like a crime because he's not all there.
No.
Who is the mother here?
He should not be reproducing.
No.
I don't think.
No. Someone needs to snip him.
Maybe they did after this.
Honestly, though, they might have snipped him, but that might not be able to stop him.
Yeah.
He seems pretty unstoppable.
He does seem unstoppable.
Good grief.
Well, this film, Cobweb, starts out the week before Halloween, and it's about this kid, Peter.
Yeah, little Peter.
He's very shy.
He's a sad boy.
Boy, he is sad.
Yeah, there's
He
like a
is
lot
sad.
of like little montages of him being sad.
You know,
but I was just like, this isn't awful.
This is 2 weeks in a row that we've started with a child who is either bullied or sad or just, and I don't know. We should be more happy, but I don't know.
Well, luckily, this one doesn't involve like stripping the boy down in front of his classmates and pouring punch on him.
No, go watch Valentine if you want to know what we're talking about from last week. But no, so he's shy. He's bullied by this kid, Brian, who is played by Luke Busey that we just mentioned. And he lives with his parents. They're actually at the beginning of the film, they're seemingly normal. You don't really pick up
pretty normal
on too much here at the beginning.
And I thought it was interesting because I didn't know like the dad's real name, like Anthony Starr didn't mean anything to me. But when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, it's Homelander from The Boys. And have you ever seen The Boys?
I have.
Okay, yeah, Homelander's a crazy dude. So I was just like, okay, I'm here for this. I want to see this guy be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And
he's fine.
For the first 10 minutes, he's fine. Then he goes off the rails a little bit.
A little
Mom.
bit. And the
man.
teacher, the whole shebang, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are. So it actually starts, in the bedroom, and he's hearing sounds in his room. There's sounds coming from, inside the walls, apparently.
Yeah. And I think the sounds start happening, and I could not focus because the god-awful wallpaper is so distracting.
It is.
I hated it.
Did you?
Oh, I hate wallpaper. My wife, Hannah, she wants to wallpaper the house. I'm like, please don't. I'm like, one, a lot of work, and two, it looks tacky.
Because you're going to do it.
And I'm going to do it.
That's
and
the
I know
problem.
I'm going to ruin it because it involves glue, and I don't want to do that.
No.
I'm not crafty enough. But a lot of wallpaper in this house.
There is a lot. And yeah, it is tacky. So he's hearing all these sounds, and then, his parents really don't believe. They just think he has an overactive imagination.
Right. They do say that a lot. They're like, oh, that's just Peter.
Yep, exactly. And so then we see him later, and he's in school, and people pick on him, and he's not having a good time in school.
No, like he's just on the way to the school, and he's on the bus, and like they trip him.
Yeah.
And then like they look at him, they're like, you just wait till recess. And
Yeah.
they're like, Jesus.
I know.
And so he doesn't go to recess.
Nope.
He just stays behind in the classroom, and that's where we meet his substitute teacher, who's an absolute doll. I love her.
Here's the thing, except for her name, every time he says the name, it's Miss Divine. And I keep thinking of it. This is now like a porn star that's coming into this or something.
Well, isn't it the name
know.
of the drag queen from that movie Pink Flamingo?
I think it is.
That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who was that hooker that Hugh Grant, wasn't that Divine Brown or something? I think
Is that
that's
the guy
I
who
don't
put the
remember.
hamsters in his butt?
No,
No, that's Richard Gere.
that's Richard Gere.
Okay, wrong guy.
Jesus.
It's Valentine. It's like around Valentine's Day. We're just talking about romantic things.
I know.
It's fine.
And that's romantic? Wow. Okay.
Well, it's something.
It is something. You're right there. Anyway, Miss Divine, the substitute teacher, she's not the actual real teacher. We never see the real teacher. Don't know much about the real teacher, but she's
We know
now
Miss Divine is thick.
Yeah.
I was distracted a few times.
So Miss Divine is played by Cleopatra Coleman.
Badass name.
Badass name, badass actress. She is very, very good.
What else is she in? I did not recognize her.
Cleopatra Coleman has been in lots of things.
Okay,
She has been in movies like James versus His Future Self, In the Shadow of the Moon, Fear Clinic, lots of TV stuff. She's an Australian actress, so a lot of the stuff, especially the TV stuff, is in Australia.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
she's got a pretty long resume that goes back to about 2004.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So, but she was very good in this.
Oh yeah, she was amazing.
But
Just
so-
made you fall in love with her and just
Yeah.
how she treated this kid.
She cares very much about Peter when the parents. It kind of doesn't seem like they do.
Complicated. It's
it is
very complicated.
He wants to go trick or treating on Halloween night, which
Yep.
is the following week. His parents forbid him, and they end up telling him that there was a girl who went missing in the neighborhood many years previous, and so they just don't want him going out trick or treating.
Well, and this also like you get this weird scene with the dad where he kind of imply like the kid gets scared. He's like, "Am I gonna go missing?" You're like, "Way to scare your kid,
yeah,
dude! Like, come on."
yep, yeah. They don't really reassure him. They don't believe anything he says because he is hearing these things in his room at night, and
Yeah.
he has nightmares, but they're just not buying into it.
No.
So, yeah, so we talked about that. Over the next few days, he starts hearing a voice.
Yeah. Now it starts talking, and like there's a scene where the wall like looks like it starts to like breathe a little bit.
A little
which
bit.
I'm like,
Like
I
something might
still
be
don't
trying
know.
to come out or whatever. It does move. Yeah.
And once we kind of learn everything, I still don't. That scene still doesn't make any sense to me.
Maybe they were just trying to get rid of that god-awful wallpaper.
I mean, I'm here for that.
That could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so his teacher becomes more concerned because Peter has drawn a picture of himself
Mm-hmm.
in his bed with a little caption balloon that says, "Help me."
Yeah,
at the
and
top.
everything is just pitch black around him in this picture. And he does it so shamelessly.
Yes.
Like if I was in class drawing creepy pictures, I would have a little bit more discretion.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, this is just right in
he's
your
just
face.
like no cares in the world, just being creepy.
And this is kind of interesting because now Miss Divine, instead of just asking him about it, shows up at his house.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers don't normally do that.
No.
And they even tell her, teachers don't normally make house calls, so
Yeah, like the principal or whatever, he afterwards asks, he's like, well, does he have like bruises? Does he have this or that or that? She's like, no. He's like, well, then don't do that.
yeah, please don't do that. The parents don't like that.
Right. And,
So-
and the mom doesn't. She's very cold.
It's a very interesting encounter.
Very awkward.
Yeah. So she does go to the house and she wants to check on Peter. And the mom answers, and the mom says, I used to be a teacher before I became a mom, but I never made house calls.
Yeah.
So what's this all about? Miss Divine says, well, I'm just concerned about him and I want to make sure he's okay. Well, he's okay. So you can go away now. And, she ends up leaving.
And she, Divine does give her the picture,
Yes, she
though. Be like,
does.
this
And-
is why I'm here.
And the mom flips out and she confronts Peter in his room. And it's not a good thing.
Yeah, this is where you first kind of really get a sense of something's really off here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a very weird way to react to this.
Yes.
And
It's
mean,
almost like the mom is angry at him.
yeah,
and
it's
not
very
concerned.
aggressive and not concerned at all. Just
Right.
very definitely the aggressor kind of like, why would you do this? What is wrong with you? Don't do this kind of shit. And
Right.
yeah.
Right. So back at school, they have a pumpkin decorating
Yeah.
contest.
It's very cute.
His was the best
It
by
was.
far. I
Yeah.
mean, he went all out and decorated this pumpkin. And even Miss Divine comes up and says how it's her favorite. Well, the bully, Brian, overhears it.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
does
he
not like
also
that.
has a crush on Miss Divine.
Maybe.
And he's just like, no, I
Maybe.
don't like that attention.
So when they're out on the playground, guess what Brian does?
He grabs the pumpkin and smashes it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's so rude.
It's so rude and sad. This kid,
I know
is
it's
just,
a dumb pumpkin, but like it upset me.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck that kid.
yeah.
I wished instantly bad things to happen to Brian.
Yeah, and they do eventually.
Amen.
So,
Oh, thank God.
oh my God, I know. So the voice keeps talking
Yeah.
to Peter, and this is where it starts to really get creepy. This film is so creepy anyway. The sound design
Mm-hmm.
and just everything about it, and the parents, the way they start to transform and change into these more sinister types.
Yep.
And the way it does it, it's very well done, and it gets very creepy.
It does. Absolutely. There's like one scene that we're going to talk about that legitimately, like, I felt like it gave me the ickies, the heebie-jeebies. I was not okay while it was happening. But I do also want to mention the cinematography in this is
Oh my God.
surprisingly good.
There are some amazing shots. There's a lot of shots where they actually turn the camera clockwise, counterclockwise, and it the way the camera moves into these scenes, it is really brilliant. There were some scenes I remember when The Conjuring came out, and James Wan did some things I had not seen before, and I was like, oh my God.
It's very James Wan, actually. That's
It
a
kind
good
of
way
is.
to put it.
Yeah. So this was very well done from a cinematographer standpoint.
Mm-hmm. And there's one scene, like, because I don't think it's really that important of a scene, so I don't know if we'll really go over it, but he's on the stairs listening to his parents talk, and he's positioned in between these two shadows. It's brilliant.
That is in my notes as one of my favorite moments in the film, the way they framed that.
Oh, my
God. It was just like, I immediately went, oh shit, that right there.
It stood out.
I wish I could be that kind of a filmmaker, because that's
the creativity, man, to like look at something and set it up and be like, this is what I want in your head. And like, I love that kind of shit.
So the voice in the wall continues to talk to Peter and basically says, stop being bullied. Do not be afraid of this kid. You need to do back to him what he has done to you. So what happens next is pretty grotesque. You don't see it. They don't show it, thankfully, because it's a kid.
Right.
But this school is like a 2 or 3 story school. So there's staircase. So he follows Brian the bully to the staircase and either pushes him or kicks him, and Brian ends up at the bottom with a broken leg.
Not just a broken leg.
It's pretty twisted.
Snapped and mangled leg. It's pretty gross.
Pretty gross. So
and you just hear him, like, his screams are pretty horrific.
And it goes on for a bit.
Yeah, it lingers.
And you see Peter at the top of the stairs with this look of, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah.
Panic on his face. So he ends up getting expelled.
Right.
Now he's home, and mom and dad are not pleased.
No. And they do the only rational thing they can do, which is like, we're going to homeschool him.
Yeah, and you're grounded.
And you're grounded.
And what that means in this household is you're going to the basement.
Not just the basement, though. So, like, when this is happening, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? So they have a fridge, and to get to the basement, you have to move the fridge out of the way. There's a creepy door.
Which, by the way, is padlocked.
Yeah. And then that's the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just send him down there, and there's like a pallet with like a pillow on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where he stays for, I don't really know how long. But the mom does have a moment, and this is where you kind of get this weird dynamic between the mom and the dad, where the dad definitely comes across more of like a dictator within the home.
Right.
Because she's just like, go to your room. And he's like, no, you're going to the basement.
Yeah.
And like you can tell the mom does not want to do that.
Yes, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
So while he's down there, he also discovers a pit, which is covered by a grate.
And then, it's just this like very small square pit that goes down 25 feet, something like that. It's all cement, and there's a teddy bear, just a single teddy bear at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got some questions now. You're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, now it's...
Shit just got stepped all the way up.
We are turning things up here. So in the meantime, Miss Devine is now very concerned about him, and again, shows up at the fucking house.
Yeah, and isn't the excuse now like he did decent on like his last math test, and so she brings that over,
brings the report card or the test score or whatever it is, brings it to the mom, and the dad is there this time, and he invites her in.
I was concerned for her safety at this point.
I was too, because he's got a hammer in his hand.
Yeah.
And
Because I also often answer the door with a hammer in my hand. Like, what are you doing?
oh, I know. So she comes in and the mom is like, what is going on? Why are you inviting her in? Didn't say that, but you can look in her face like she doesn't need to be in the house. So she comes in and sits down, and now Dad is like gushing blood down his arm. He's got this big gash in his arm, and she's like, "Oh, you're bleeding," and he's like, "Oh, just a scratch," and he's cleaning it up, and
Just hit it on a nail. It's doing some remodeling. No biggie.
Well, and it just gets very weird. He's acting incredibly weird. Just you think that he's going to take the hammer and bludgeon her.
I was expecting it the entire time.
I was expecting that because that's just how he's acting. You know, he did put the hammer down, but it's just this whole kitchen scene is very, very strange.
And they do have the washing machine running because, I mean, they're right in the kitchen. So the kid is still in the basement.
Right.
So that doorway is just right there. So they're having that running. And
So it's making noise.
Yeah, to hide the, children's noise from being imprisoned.
Because now Peter hears that Miss Devine is in the house, and he comes up and he starts kicking the door and yelling. And because the washing machine is making so much noise, she thinks that she hears something.
Right. But she's like, nah, probably not.
It's the washing machine.
And she does ask about Peter.
Yes.
And the dad's just like, well, he is grounded. He is in his room. And you may not see him.
Yeah, because she asks, well, can I go up and see him? You may not.
Yeah, and he's so just like matter of fact about it. Be like, nope. And it's very weird, very uncomfortable. And yeah, it's definitely one of the most tense scenes in the movie because you're just expecting something horrible to happen.
Oh, yeah. Eventually she ends up leaving. She gets intimidated. And I wouldn't have gone in the first place. But
and that is where we learn that they're going to homeschool him.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to solve his issues. He just needs more family time.
And I think it gets even more tense when she tries to push back and say that that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
the mom goes ballistic at that.
Yes, she does.
What? You think you know better? You don't know my son. Like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, she unravels. And then the dad comforts her and he's like, I think it's time for you to leave now.
Yes.
And she's like, okay, yeah.
And so she can tell she's very rattled, very nervous, gets out to her car, realizes she forgot her keys in the house. So she's rifling through her purse, and then a jump scare of sorts. There's the dad at the car window. Miss Devine, you forgot your keys.
And he has the hammer again.
Yes.
Which, weird. Again, yeah, it's just very weird and unsettling, which is kind of what this movie's all about. Just having these interactions that are just off enough to kind of be like, this is making me feel a way. And yeah.
So we don't know exactly how long Peter was in the basement, but they do let him out. And he pretends to just go with them and say, I'm never going to make things up. I'm never going to do this. I'm going to be a better person. And then because
there is this moment I do want to talk about real quick because this made me, again, very weird, where the mom bakes him cupcakes. And goes down to the basement with them. And it's just like a baking pan of cupcakes, and all of them have a smiley face, except there's one with a frowny face.
Right.
And she's like, this is pumpkin cupcakes for my little pumpkin.
Yeah.
And just the entire way her face looks is, again, just one of those like, what is wrong with you moments.
Something's definitely not clicking up there. Something's off, definitely.
But and then he does eventually, he goes back to him and it's just like, everything's fine. We're a happy family.
So the voice comes back to him and now we get the story.
Yep.
And she explains that she is Peter's older sister, Sarah, whom their parents basically locked away after they decided they didn't want her anymore.
Yep.
And the parents had chosen Halloween as the day to imprison her. And that's what they did.
Right.
And the girl who had gone missing, why they wouldn't let him go out trick-or-treating, apparently they had murdered her.
Right.
That's what Sarah is now telling Peter, that they had murdered that girl after she attempted to help Sarah.
Yep.
So,
and she mentions that the body is in the little family pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I will tell you exactly where to go to find it.
Yep.
And you just get this, just kind of these, you can see Peter just kind of like losing his faith in his parents completely. And it's slow, but now it's kind of ramping up and it's more of like a snowball effect now where she's really getting into his head and changes the way he views them completely, which comes up in a scene in a nightmare, and that is the
Oh,
scene that
God.
completely
That
rattled
scared
me.
me.
Yes,
That-
it is legitimately terrifying.
It scared me, and I don't get too scared in these movies. This one made me very scared and uncomfortable, and we'll get to that
Yeah.
here. First, though, he does go out to the pumpkin patch garden, and he starts digging, and all of a sudden, there's this skull that's looking up at him from the ground. This is a tense scene, too, because now his mother is looking for him, goes up to his room, doesn't see him there. She looks out the window and sees him down in the garden. And he knows that he has been seen. So now he's trying to bury the skull, and mom is coming downstairs to get him and ask what the hell he's doing out there. And just as he gets the skull completely, covered up with dirt,
right.
she's like, "What are you doing?" And he stands up with a pumpkin, and he said, we should do some pumpkin carving. If you won't let me go trick-or-treating, at least let me do some pumpkin stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And I will tell you, she says, okay. And this is one of the most bizarre scenes because she starts carving the pumpkin in the kitchen sink.
Aggressively.
And she's got this butcher knife, and she's like slashing the inside of this pumpkin. And it's like, whoa.
And then she just like reaches to grab shit and just like keeps flinging it in the sink. And there's also like 5 pumpkins around her. So again, it's just they just do very subtle things of just being like, this is weird.
Yes.
And I just really like how they filmed this movie.
It was like she was in a trance when she was doing that pumpkin.
It was very
creepy.
otherworldly kind of shit.
Very much so. So the voice, who I guess is now Sarah, the sister, is telling him that, the parents, they're going to kill her, and they're going to put him behind the walls next.
Yeah, because I guess that's just how they do things.
That's how they roll.
Imprisonment, kill, rinse, repeat.
And so they, she says, you need to kill them before they get you.
That night before everything hits fan, it's where he has this nightmare though.
Yes.
Of the parents, and how the scene is.
God.
So he wakes up, but not really. So he wakes up and the dad is standing there in the corner of his room, and then if you look to the side though, did you notice his rug?
No.
So his rug, it does this overhead shot of him, and his rug is just rotating on the floor.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, something's weird. And he looks over, his dad's just being a creep in the corner, and he's like doing this weird like twitchy thing with his eyes. And then he stops and is just like smiling at him. He's like, "Look what you did to your mother." And then you look down the goddamn hallway. Ugh.
Well, here's the thing. The eyes, there was sound with it, too. It was like
just
these clicks.
It was very
rapid clicks.
Yeah, like
with the eyes.
like a camera shutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Look what you did to your mom." And his mom is standing there. And this was my thing that freaked me out so much, is the mom standing there, fingers just like to her side, but like out.
And her eyes are glowing.
And kind of just like smiling at him.
Yeah.
And then the lights go out.
Yep.
And you hear the footsteps running towards him, but you can't see anything.
Right.
And that is something that every time that's done in a horror movie where there's like running footsteps, that creeps me out.
And then the next time you see her, she's right there in his face.
Yeah, and then she's in the room. Like,
He screams and then wakes up.
Yeah. To his mom,
holding
in
him.
bed,
Yeah.
being like, "What happened?" It's that scene is.
That was my favorite scene out of the entire film. Scared the
As
hell
we're
out of
even
me.
talking about it, my butthole is puckering. It's like it's so well done.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was very scary. One of the scarier scenes I've seen
in a while.
In a long time. So the voices said, the voice is telling him, you have to kill them. And so all of a sudden, what happens?
The opening kill.
So it takes a bit.
Yeah.
It is 59 minutes and 20 seconds into the movie, but we do get to the opening kill, and it is what it is. There's a scene earlier where the dad has taken him out to their shed to get rat poison.
Because that's what he's saying the sounds in the walls are. He's like, "Oh, it's got to be rats."
Yes. So they go out and they get the rat poison, And they bring it into the house, and the kid, Peter, smells it, and it smells like cinnamon.
And they kind of have like a nice little father-son
They
rat
do.
murdering moment.
They do.
Like, it's kind
Well, and Peter asks his dad, what's going to happen after we put the rat poison? And he does the, finger across the neck. Now, that's going to be the end of the rats. And you can see Peter is sad by that.
he is.
And he says, well, but we can't have rats here. They carry disease. They bite. We got to get rid of them. We
I mean,
can't have
fair.
them.
I hate rodents, so
Sure.
like I'm all for it.
Sure.
I'm rooting for the dad here. I'm like,
Yeah,
you kill
yeah.
those rats.
So fast forward now back to the dinner table, and Peter has now taken the rat poison and put it into the soup
Yep.
that Mom made.
And like, yeah, he's not eating it. He's just
Right.
kind of sitting there, and like the parents are just like,
They're
oh,
just-
yum.
And the mom or the dad says, "Did you do something different to the soup?"
And that's at that moment, because there's no like indication that he did it yet.
No.
But as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, that little shit.
And then she's eating it, and she's like, I didn't do anything different, and she's noticing something, and then he says, was it the mom or the dad? And one of them
The
say,
mom's like,
it smells
cinnamon.
like cinnamon. And then the dad, it's like, oh, what did you do?
Yeah, he looks over. He's like, "What did you do?" And he
Yeah.
gets up, like, starts shaking him, and then he,
And he's telling the
pukes.
wife, call 911,
Yeah.
call 911. So he pukes and there's blood coming up, and it's a pretty grotesque
Yeah.
scene. So the mom goes to call 911, but the kid, and they don't have cell phones, okay?
Yeah, I
This
don't
is
know
a-
what
this is a landline.
year this is, but yeah, there's no cell
I
phones
don't
in the
know.
house.
But Peter had clipped the phone
Yes.
wire, the phone cord from the base to the handset,
Yep.
so she can't call out now. And the dad is dead.
Yeah, he dies on the dinner table.
Yeah, he is gone. So as far as what I give this, is it a butter knife or butcher knife kill? It's a butter knife. It's not that exciting to me. I didn't give it, that great of a thing here.
I don't know. I really fucked with it. I liked it a lot.
Did you?
I did, just because like the whole, you like that light bulb moment of realizing what happened.
Sure.
And then you just see him like puking his guts out. It's violent, like in a different kind of way.
Sure.
And the fact that a kid did it to his own parents kind of amplified it for me. So I'll give it the old butcher knife. I
Okay.
will.
That's twice.
I
2 weeks
know.
in a row we have not agreed on it.
Once we put the rating in place, it's just been divisive.
It has been very divisive between the two of us.
Shit's getting catty here. I
mean,
love it.
You're wrong, but that's okay. You're entitled. You are entitled.
Now the next kill, though, I think is definitely better.
So it is better, and yeah,
Because, like, so the mom then, okay, she sees her dead husband. The kid kind of runs and she grabs a knife and then takes after the kid. And you're like, oh shit, she's gonna like kill him. So she's chasing him up the stairs. She ends up tripping him. He looks back and she starts puking there, right?
Yeah, she does.
And then he kicks her down the stairs.
Yes.
And so then she's just tumbles down and she's laying there in just like a crumpled up mess.
Right.
And she ends up stabbing herself in the side.
because she didn't let go of the knife.
No,
as
she
was
didn't
rolling
learn
down the
proper
stairs.
knife safety.
No, she didn't.
She didn't have that facing the ground like a responsible person.
Yeah.
But no, so she's dying there at the bottom of the stairs, and the kid goes down to check on mom.
Yeah.
And she looks at him, grabs him, goes like, "Don't let her out."
And he should have listened.
He should have.
And we'll explain why. Now, I do want to back up. There was a scene prior to these deaths where Brian,
Oh, yeah.
little bully Brian, and his cousin and two of his cousin friends
In their
cousin's
rape
friends,
van.
Yeah, roll up in their rape van and park in front of the house. And he goes, Brian, is that cuz? Is that the kids? Is that Peter's house? It's like, yeah, that's his house. And then they drive off. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to set this up, because now shit really gets real.
Yeah.
But it gets weird before it gets real, because now Peter unlocks a hidden door behind the grandfather clock in his parents' bedroom.
Right. And that is something that Sarah said to him. She's like, "I've been watching you for years, and I was waiting till you were strong enough to move this clock."
Yes.
And another thing is the mom has all the keys on this like retracto little thing on her waist. So like when she let the teacher in, she does lock it behind her, and so she has like every door is locked, and she has to follow around with her stupid retracto keys. So he has to grab those off of her, and he runs up to their bedroom, moves the clock, and unlocks it.
Yeah.
And as soon as he opens the door, you just see it's pitch black in there.
Yep.
And it holds on it for an uncomfortable amount of time with nothing happening.
This is one of the tensest
Yeah.
moments in the film because you don't know what is coming.
Right. You're like, okay, is this just going to be like this little decrepit girl that's been locked away, or is this going to be something else? It's the latter. It's something else.
Right.
And you just see these eyes, boop.
Yep.
And instantly the voice is sinister and it's cackling.
So when the voice is whispering to him through the walls, it's a little girl's voice.
It's very childlike.
And that is actually the voice of Olivia Sussman, who's a great actress, character actress. But when when the girl actually comes out of her dungeon, whatever it is, the monster Sarah, it's voiced by Deborah Wilson. And the girl herself is played by Alexandra Dragova. So there's 3 different people involved with this character here.
I like that the monster voice lady is named as Deborah. Like that's I don't know. You can't say the name Deborah without saying it like Deborah. It just feels like a lunch lady that had a smoking addiction since youth.
Could be. I don't know. But so what comes out is
you don't really see it yet.
Not yet.
But you know something's off.
You can tell it's not
not
just
a human.
Girl. No,
yeah.
it's not really human.
I actually at the end of the movie I don't know exactly what it was.
Well, there's other things that you see. Obviously it's called Cobweb for a reason, and she explains that she was born with. She was just totally deformed,
right?
And makes her look, very monster-like, and that's why the parents, locked her up because she was. They were terrified by her appearance. And so she said she's been living among the cobwebs
and the rats
and all these things. There's one scene later, and it's a very cool scene. It's kind of like the scene where Peter is in between the shadows of his parents. He's going up the stairs, and you see the shadow of the sister, and it's in the shape of a spider. Scrambling down the hallway.
It's very interesting. This character moves like a spider. Has some sort of spider powers because she can walk on walls.
Yes.
And that's where I'm like, I don't know what you are. Because, gravity is still a thing for humans. So there's definitely some other aspect to her that's not entirely human. But we do also learn that she is the person who killed the trick-or-treater.
Yes.
And that is why she was locked away, because she's a murderer.
Yep. And she's been very resentful of Peter, who's had a normal life, the life that she never had.
Well, Sarah, that's because he didn't kill people.
That's right.
Until he killed his parents. Which she then does say, we're not so far, we're not too different.
Well, and she tells him, too, I want you dead, too.
Yeah.
Because, but before that can happen.
Yeah, we're going off the rails a bit.
Before that can happen, Brian, the bully, and his cousin and 2 friends decide to show up here. And we don't know exactly what their original intent is, but they are all wearing Halloween masks.
Yep.
So we're going to get into a series of kills here that go fairly quickly. And it's kind of hard to know who is killed, when, and how. There's a lot of off-screen kills, and they are wearing Halloween masks.
Yeah, there's Rabbit Boy, there's Monkey Boy, there's
what are the other
Gopher
ones?
Boy? I don't know. Yeah, they're all kind of these goofy animal masks. It's very weird.
It's strange.
They are kind of creepy though. I do like it, especially when they're stalking through the house because you hear them. They're like, Peter, are you home alone?
And so the front door just opens up seemingly by itself. And they're like, what, are they fucking with us?
Yeah.
So they go in anyway. Now, right there, I would not be going into any house where the front door opens on its own.
No. But they do. And they just they're walking around just breaking shit. One of them, I think there's only one of them that's really looking for Peter.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's the cousin.
Yes.
Again, you don't really know who's who.
Exactly.
But we do know Brian's the one on crutches.
Yeah, he's easy to spot. And he's not wearing his mask.
No, he takes it off pretty quickly because he falls.
He does.
And he falls in a puddle of blood.
which belonged to Peter's mother,
Yeah.
who is now. So this
This is actually great.
This is great. He's lying in this pool of blood after he slips, and there's this little cubby hole with a door.
It's like a Harry Potter bedroom
it
under the
is.
stairs.
So the door opens, and there's the mom all contorted into this,
Just smashed in there.
like she's been bent in all different directions and
Yeah.
ways, and there's her head, and it's right there, and so.
He gets scared like a little wuss.
Yeah. So as we go here, the first kill of this series happens when the cousin's friend walks into the parlor, and they're all just now vandalizing this
Yeah.
place. And there's a piano in the parlor, and he's beating the shit out of it with a mallet or whatever he's got. And he turns to walk away, and he hears a piano note.
Well, you do see her
You
on
do.
the wall moving around.
Right.
And then you hear the thing, and he looks over, and there's a clump of like
Her hair.
nasty ass hair.
And that's her telltale.
She's kind of
look.
like Rapunzel.
A little bit. Yes,
Like
she is.
I mean, there is
Yes.
there's a little Rapunzel vibe to it.
There's
but
a scene later where that
there's
actually is
very
very
Rapunzel
true.
vibe to it. Yeah.
You're right. So the hair just kind of drops over the edge of the piano, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then you see something grabs his legs from
these
underneath.
two like deformed hands come out, grab his legs, pull him under, and
Yep.
then I don't know what she does to him.
well, I think he's just ripped apart.
Because you just
don't
see a blood
it.
splatter go.
Yes, it's a gushing of blood that just goes out.
Yeah.
Off-screen kill, we don't know, but that is kill number 3.
Right.
So number 4 happens next when the actual cousin of Brian is killed by Sister Sarah.
But he's the one he finds Peter under the
does.
bed.
He does.
And he's in the like process of grabbing him out when he hears the shit going south downstairs, and so he just leaves him there and goes to check it out.
Because Peter heard them come into the house and knew they were there. So
like
he
he's
ran up.
hiding.
He's hiding under his bed, and the cousin is actually jumping up and down on the bed because he knows he's down there.
Well, Peter hid under his bed, and there's no like bed skirt
No,
or anything.
no.
He's a horrible hiding place.
And this is also
As soon as the guy walked in the room, like,
Yeah.
how do you not see him?
yeah, you do. And this is another jump scare because he's on the bed, and then it's like it gets real quiet. You think maybe he's laying on the bed, and then the camera kind of pans over, and there he is,
Yeah.
reaching for him. So that was a jump scare. And then Sister Sarah shows up and destroys this. Again, this is an off camera.
You do see it later, though.
You do see so he's ripped in half.
Yeah.
There's 2 pieces of him at the torso, the legs and then the torso.
and the guts just spilling
Yeah.
out of both. Yeah.
So that's what happened to him. That is kill number 4. And this is, again, another off-screen kill. Now we go to Brian, who is still, screaming, laying in a pool of blood in the hallway. And then you see the sister and her hair kind of
The
drop,
hair, yeah.
like right over him.
And he looks up and then screams, and then, she does something to him.
And that grabs the attention of the other cousin's friend who is still running around. But yeah, we don't know what happens to Brian. The little shit deserved it because he was a bully. So
Yeah,
he's
if I could
gone
change
now.
one thing, it'd be for his kill to be on screen.
Yeah, we don't get to see Brian's kill. So
What a ripoff.
I know, right?
Jeez.
So this is
We do see the last one, though.
This is pretty cool because now we've got the last home invader, the last friend of Brian's cousin, who is on the stairwell, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Everybody's gone now, and you see the sister, like whatever form she's in, come racing at him
On the wall.
on the wall.
Like he's like looking over, and like the house is, there's this banister, and then you see into like the entryway, and she's on the stairway, but like on the wall of it, and you just see
Yep.
her rushing, and
Yes.
then he takes off.
Yeah.
And then you see the kill through Peter's perspective, and you just see him getting smashed against the wall a few times, then pulled into the hall, smashed, pulled, and then when he comes back, he's missing his head.
Right.
And then he just collapses.
Yep. That's it. That was kind of funny.
It
actually.
was kind of funny.
That is kill number 6.
And then you get this moment where Sister Sarah comes into his room,
Yeah.
and you see like the hair and like all that, and you get this shot where you see her sitting on his bed, and you see Peter still under the bed, and she's like cradling something, and you then see what it is, which is the jack-o'-lantern that was carved earlier, but now there's the head inside the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
And Peter sees that and he's just, oh,
Was that
shit.
his mother's head, or was
I
it?
thought it was the guy who got decapitated.
Okay, maybe it was.
But
yeah.
how cool would it have been if it was Brian's?
Well, that makes more. Well, yeah, I don't think it was Brian's.
Yeah,
It
you
looked
can't
but
really tell. You can
yeah.
see it's like the
that would make
face,
more
but
sense than the mother's. But at first, I thought it was the mom's head. It kind of looked like it, but I think it
kind of.
makes
But the
sense.
mom's head's still attached when you see her smashed into the Harry Potter room. So
And I give that too much credit. It wasn't even that big. It was more like a little Harry Potter cubby than it was.
yeah,
The
it
Harry
wasn't
Potter
a room, but
No.
I mean, it was.
But it was under the stairs.
Yeah, so similar.
Same thing. I don't know.
But yeah, no, that scene I think where you just kind of you see her kind of like talking to him on his bed is very eerie.
Now Sister Sarah wants to kill Peter.
Yeah.
But before she can, Miss Divine comes.
Hot teacher Divine here to
comes
save the day.
Rushing into. It's funny you mentioned that because one thing, didn't mention it, but at one point he did try to call her for help.
That is a great scene.
And he got caught
How
by
the hell
his
did we
mom.
forget this?
Yeah. He got caught by his mom. This is when everything's getting really weird. The parents obviously still alive. And
on the test,
Yeah.
instead of like, it looks like it's a score.
Yeah.
But it's actually her phone number.
Yeah,
Because
it
she
is.
knows something's wrong with
Right.
Like, so, yeah.
So he calls her and says, "Help me." And at that moment, he turns around and there's his mom standing in the bedroom
Yeah.
looking at him. And so he hangs up. Well, Miss Divine calls the house back and mom answers. And she said, "I think Peter just called me." And she goes, "Yes, he did. And that was a very bad thing to do." You know, he just, I guess, makes reference to the fact that he was going to propose to her. He was just going to get a ring or something. And, because he has such a crush on you.
Yeah, it
or
was
whatever.
weird. Yeah.
Very, very weird.
And then she does just like throw his ass in the room. And she does notice then that the hall, like in his room, there's a hole where he's talking to Sarah.
Yeah.
And then she fucking panics.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
so
Anyway,
that all happens.
Yeah. So let's jump back to the end now where we're at. And Miss Divine, she's in the kitchen. She sees that clump of hair go around a corner. And then Sister Sarah claws her leg basically, and she falls and she goes and gets Peter. Sister grabs Peter. And
He's
takes him
in the
down.
walls where she has been. And the teacher, Divine, breaks the wall down and gets him out.
That's right.
And so then they're running out of the house.
Yeah.
And Divine gets out, but she looks back and sees Peter held by his hair and lifted up and then dragged back into the house. And then that is when she throws him down into the pit.
But the way he escapes from the pit is actually
It's
pretty cool.
great.
This is that Rapunzel moment because he's down there
And she goes down there too.
Yeah.
And you see her just crawl down there like a spider.
Yes.
And this is where you actually see her face for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of normal-ish, except for she's got a very big mouth.
I'm wondering if this actress, Alexandra Dragova, if she's a contortionist and
I bet she
would
is.
have to be to do some of the things that she was able to do in this.
Yeah.
I don't think we're dealing with a lot of CGI here.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think so.
The face definitely has a little bit of CGI to it, but it's just kind of like a weird big mouth, eyes a bit too far apart. Just very creepy face. And this is when she's kind of getting in his face, being like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
And the teacher then gets into the basement, and so she crawls up to see what's going on with the teacher. They kind of get into a scuffle.
Yep.
And her hair is so damn long that it's still hanging in the pit. And that's when Peter, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Yeah, and he did. He climbed her hair and got up to the, and they end up subduing her by grabbing her hair and puts her back in her pit.
Right.
And she's coming up to try and get out, and just in time
They slam it shut and lock it.
and that's it. And she vows that she will eventually escape and will haunt them forever.
And she does say, like, you're always gonna wonder if you really locked it.
Yep.
In all these little moments, you're always gonna know I'm on the way to you. And that's where I'm like, just fucking kill her.
Yeah.
She's in a pit.
Yeah.
Just pour gasoline down there
Well,
and strike a match.
And the thing is, this is where the movie pretty much
it
ends.
just ends.
And it makes it sound like the kid is going to stay there by himself.
Yeah.
She makes some reference about that. And it's the ending really didn't do it for me.
I'm like, Sarah, do you not know about social workers?
Yeah.
They're not going to let him stay in the house by himself.
Yeah. It just kind of was,
It needed 5 more minutes.
It did.
Just
It
to
did. Just to tie up all the loose ends.
I think they should have just killed her.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been fine with me.
Yep.
Boom. Have it, and then Divine adopts him, and boom, they're a happy little family.
The only thing I can think of is that they were planning a sequel, and it didn't do well, and so they scrapped it, and so they left it open. But I don't know. It's unfortunate that it ended the way it did. In my opinion, I think I would have given it a better grade than I'm going to give it.
Yeah, same.
You
same.
know, if the ending was different. So final kill count, 6 kills.
All right.
In the film, which not bad. It's kind of, it's a little bit on the low side, but not too bad. Favorite character was Miss Divine.
Same.
Favorite kill. I don't know if I have a favorite kill just because you didn't get to really see a lot of the kills.
Mine is the kid who gets his head ripped off. I think that's probably the best one.
I mean, I would say the piano kid because you
That's
get to see
pretty cool.
all the blood gushing out and all that. Favorite scene was definitely the nightmare sequence in the bedroom. That was creepy.
That is legitimately terrifying. And then if we're going just like a favorite like non-horror scene, it's definitely the scene where he's on the stairway and the parents are talking in the shadow just because of how it's shot is incredible.
I thought the cinematography was amazing. I thought the performances were amazing in this, and the story was pretty good. Had the ending been different, I would have given this an A, but as it stands, I give it a B.
I gave it 3.5 stars.
Okay.
And I do, like, why did the parents try for a second kid?
That's a good
question. Like, the first time you have a spider mutant and then you're going to try for another kid? That's some audacity. Good grief.
And what did this kid look like when it was born? I mean, was it really that deformed? I mean, obviously it's a horror film and it's, you know.
But I mean, if you look at like a picture of her, like we got a picture of her right here. She doesn't look that deformed.
Not here. But in the movie,
But I think that's because she learned to walk that way, because she mentions, like, spiders were my family. So I don't think she was that bad.
I'll tell you, the sound design on this was amazing because there are so many scenes where all you hear is her just running through the walls, and it happens a lot. And I think that's a big part of this, obviously. And you're right. I think maybe that's just how because she was trapped for so long, that's how she got around.
She's like Tarzan. She forgot how to be a human. She turned into an animal instead.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I give it a B. You give it whatever
3.5 stars is.
Yeah. Okay. Coming up, we have your scare preview. It is next.
Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together.
You can listen to and binge Jaunty Haunts right now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you podcast. Stay spooky, ghoul friends.
Scare preview time. And there's a film coming out March 21st called Ash. This is a science fiction horror film directed by record producer, DJ, filmmaker, and rapper Flying Lotus, making his directorial debut. It's about a woman who awakes on a distant planet only to find that her crew has been slaughtered. Isa Gonzalez stars as Raya and Aaron Paul as Brian, the man sent to rescue her. After its theatrical run, it will be streaming exclusively on Shudder. But again, that opens March 21st.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Aaron Paul, I really like. He's the Breaking Bad guy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He's
cool.
good.
Nice. Yeah, mine is called Him, and it's an upcoming American sports horror film. And it's produced by Monkey Paw Productions, and it's going to be coming out September 19th, 2025. And the premise, not much about it. I just kind of intrigued by the sports horror aspect. It's an up-and-coming athlete goes to train with a legend who is about to retire, and that's it. So I'm like,
okay.
I'm very curious as to what the hell this is going to be about. But I mean, it's Jordan Peele's production company, so and it's starring Marlon Wayans. So yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's
very
gonna.
cool.
I'm intrigued.
Very, very cool. That is your scare preview. We have an incredible movie we are going to cover for you next week.
I'm excited.
This was your scare
This
preview.
is one of my most anticipated of the year.
Yep.
We've got The Monkey from Osgood Perkins. I'm hearing nothing but good things about this thing. So, it's going to be another new one. We're going to have to check it out in the theaters together and
this is gonna
somehow
be one of those,
try to make a kill counter.
This is going to be one of those quick ones where we go see it and then, we've got to get everything together in like a day or two and
we'll be taking notes in the theater, counting kills, because based off the trailer, there's going to be a fuck ton of them.
It looks like it. It looks like it. So this is based on a Stephen King story. And he's my favorite author, and I've been looking forward to this like you have for quite a while. So, yeah. Want to thank researcher Jillian, for making us old fashions tonight.
Yes, thank you.
And continuing to supply alcohol throughout the
I think
podcast.
that was my first old fashioned.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not like usually a whiskey drinker.
Okay.
I love the bison thing, but like I'm just not I'm more of like a tequila, but a silver tequila. I'm not.
Oh, you can make him something with tequila next time, Jillian. I've got more tequila in the shelf too. Yeah.
Did you like it? Do you have a good tequila sunrise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, dude, there we go.
There we go.
We'll talk.
That's what we'll be drinking for the monkey.
Yes. Love that. Please subscribe, like us, give us 5-star reviews wherever you listen to our podcast.
And share us.
Please share us.
Yeah, do that.
Let people know. I want to thank new listeners in Russia.
Yeah.
That signed on. That was kind of cool to see that. So
that's rad.
Definitely. Email or message us if you have a film suggestion. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, email is openingkillpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we will see you next week for The Monkey. It is the Opening Kill Podcast.
The Opening Kill podcast is hosted by Michael Duran and Brian O'Connor. It's produced by Mystic Cloud Productions. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Join us next Thursday for a brand new episode.